Okay, we have another question, and it's from Lena. Hello, Lena.
Hello, Danielle.
And what's your question?
My question is why is the anxiety triggered off so easily?
Excellent question. Most people have that question because, anxiety and panic attacks are incredibly scary. And you look around, nothing seems to be scary and it doesn't make sense. True?
True.
I used to think this. I would be walking along, everything's fine, and all of a sudden my body would just get flooded with this fear. And I'm sitting with friends and I'm like, what the hell? Well, like, what is this? Or sometimes someone would do something very small and my nervous system would just freak out. And I would think, what? Why? And it not only was it scary, but I just felt so, it messed with my confidence because when a little thing knocks you out, it's just, you don't, it's hard to be proud of yourself and feel confident, but also I was always looking over my shoulder, like, when's it going to hit? I don't know if you have that, but I did.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
Okay. So if you know anything about the work that I do, what I'm basically saying is that what you're feeling right now isn't about right now. When you say trigger, you mean the thing that's triggering you right now. And we tend to think it's about what the thing that's happening right now. But my model that I built that allows me to solve this basically says that anxiety is a symptom of what's been building for a while now. Remember that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One way of understanding it is to see the emotional system as the physical system and to see that the thing that's been building for a while now is neglect, not taking daily care of our nervous system with the basics, and that accumulated neglect builds and builds and builds until your system becomes fragile and little things make it painful. So that's one understanding. But I want to give you another understanding. So when we get triggered, at least in the realm of anxiety, let's take out the word anxiety because I believe a lot of confusion is embedded just in calling it anxiety. I think it confuses us as to what's actually going on. So let's take away the word anxiety and give it a name of what that feeling is that's not anxiety. What is that feeling?
Uncertainty.
Fair enough. It's a very eloquent, but at the core, like the most primitive feeling.
Fear.
It's fear.
It's fear.
Yeah, fear. At the core, it's fear. We can call that fear anxiety. We can call it panic, uncertainty, overwhelm. But those are fancy descriptions for the root primitive feeling of fear. Agreed?
Agree. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if you think it's about what's happening right now, then yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Something relatively small happened that shouldn't make us fearful. It's no threat to our life, and yet our system feels like we're under attack. Mm-hmm. That's how it seems. It's a good place to start, but it makes us feel crazy and insecure and like we're broken because it doesn't make sense. But I'm saying it's not about what right now. It's that what's happening right now is activating something that's been building for a while. So, where does fear come from?
So I know where my fear came from, and I know when I had the first panic attack. I know the day. It was the 27th of April, 2020, when COVID started. And I came from my doctor, and all this fear on the TV that triggered it. But
yes,
I know that triggered it, but I can't say that was my first panic attack. I never had them before.
Right. So that is what triggered it. Absolutely. That's the pressure pushing on your fragile nervous system.
Yeah.
And then what's been building for a while got activated.
Yeah.
That's the point of a trigger. It's referring to like, a gun, you've got a trigger that hits the charge in the bullet that explodes. So the thing that explodes.
It just pushed all the stress that was accumulating all my life. Yeah.
Yes. It activated something that's been building.
Yeah.
And I want to share with you the other thing that's been building. One is the neglect, but I want to show you where fear comes from that makes this solvable, because there's a lot of answers like, oh, why am I afraid? Different people have different answers. We want an understanding of where's all this fear coming from that makes this solvable, because that's all I care about. So do you want me to show you an understanding of where all this fear is coming from that makes this solvable?
Sure.
Okay. Let's say, Lena, you and I are friends, but I feel like we're friends already. Do you feel like we're friends?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So let's say, Lena, that we've been friends for a while, but then all of a sudden, I start to treat you kind of crappy. I start to neglect you. I am mean to you. I'm unkind to you. I don't give a crap what you want. When you tell me how you're feeling, I tell you I don't care. You tell me what you don't want to do, and I don't listen, and I put you in scary situations, and I push you harder than you need to go. If I did that 5 times a day, every day, for a month, how would you feel around me?
Not good.
Not good.
Not good.
Not good.
Oh.
Is it fair to say you'd be a little bit fearful or anxious around me?
Yeah, I would try to avoid you. Yes.
Yeah,
Be anxious around you. Yeah. Be stressed around you. Watching
absolutely.
every word I say. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So the question is, when I'm unkind to you, when I neglect you, when I treat you poorly, it creates a secondary effect. There's a reason that you don't feel safe around me and you don't feel calm around me. Why, when I treat you poorly, do you not feel safe and calm?
Because I know what to expect from you, that you are not treating me the way you should be treating me, the way I feel I should be treated. And I try to avoid you, and I'm analyzing this, and I'm thinking, why is all this happening? And then it interferes with my life.
So that's very true. If I'm
It is.
consistently
Yes.
poor to you,
I even see the person in front of me who did this. So
I shouldn't be
so I
laughing.
can relate to it. It's not
Okay.
you, Daniel. It's not you.
So yes, if you're around somebody that treats you consistently poorly, part of why you wouldn't feel safe and therefore anxious or fearful is because you're worried about what am I going to do next. That's true. But there's another reason, and I'm going to give it to you, and it's very simple and you'll understand it. The other reason that you would not feel safe and calm around me is because when I am unkind to you enough times, you don't trust me.
Yeah. Yes. I will not trust you. Mm-hmm.
And if you don't trust someone, you'll feel unsafe. And if you feel unsafe, you will then feel the feeling of fear or anxiety or stress. Agreed?
Agree. Yes. But
So,
in life, you see, if it's just a friend, I could just stop all the contacts with it. But the case that I had, I was working with that person, so I couldn't stop all the relations. It had to
yeah.
go on. Yeah.
So if you're around somebody that's consistently treating you poorly and you can't get away, not only is the neglect accumulating, and the more they neglect you, the more the trust is broken and the more scared you'll be. True?
True.
But
Mm-hmm.
also you can't get away from them. So you feel trapped. You feel trapped with your aggressor, which will also make you feel unsafe because you are unsafe. You're on the other end of a scary person.
Right.
And the point is that it will build over time. The more neglect creates more broken trust, and the more broken trust, the more unsafe you feel, and the more unsafe you feel, the more anxious you will feel around that person. So let's say you're around this person that you can think of, and they treat you poorly all the time, and you can't get away from them, and you're feeling unsafe, and you don't trust them and you're feeling all this fear and maybe you're anxious. And then they walk up to you and they do one small thing and then you get anxious and they turn to you, God, what's wrong with you? Why are you so easily triggered? I didn't do anything. I just said one thing. What's wrong with you? Why'd you get triggered?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah, why? Why?
Well,
because it's been building up, huh?
Because it's been building up.
Building up, yeah. And that was the last straw.
So the thing is, in this metaphor, you are in a relationship with yourself. You and the whole world has been neglecting and being unkind and compassionate to ourselves. And every time we're unkind to ourselves, we break a little bit of trust with ourselves. A little bit's okay. But years, decades, 5 to 10 times a day, and we can't escape. We're in a relationship with ourselves. What I found is this builds and builds all these hundreds, if not thousand moments of neglect and treating ourselves poorly, builds into this incredible distrust within ourselves and creates the fear and anxiety. What do you think about what I'm saying?
100%. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you mentioned this, I thought about the person that I worked with. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you're not, the reason you're being triggered, if you don't know about this buildup of neglect and buildup of broken trust, yeah, you just see the small thing and there's an explosion.
Mm-hmm.
But if you know that this has been building and building and you are just not trusting yourself and ready to explode, then a small thing.
You're right.
Now,
Yeah.
the downside is this isn't going anywhere. This is just math. If you are unkind to yourself long enough, you break trust long enough, it builds, it builds, it builds, it builds, and you're just scared inside. And the tiniest thing makes things explode. You've seen this in relationships. You know, there's a couple that's been married for 20 years, and then all of a sudden they get divorced over like what TV to buy. It's like, honey, that's not about which TV to buy. It's decades of little, each person treating each other crappy, and it's been building distrust and hurt over time, and then it just exploded over the television set. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
So you're not being triggered by what's happening right now. What's happening right now is just a small thing that activates all this broken trust. The downside is that just like neglect, unless this is addressed, unless you rebuild trust with yourself, and that's what I can help you with, it's always going to be there on some level. That's the downside. You can manage the symptoms, but it's going to come back. But if we want to turn this around and solve this, why is it good news to understand that what you're experiencing is a symptom of just lots of little moments of broken trust with yourself?
Yeah, but you know, Danielle, some people, let's take Chopra. He says the past is the past. Forget about it. And the future, we know nothing about the future. We are in the present, right? So who do you trust? You know, there are so many schools, huh?
Well, it's a good question. And like I said, and I always say, anything sounds good. And there's many things out there that are true. There, on some level, some things are in the past. There's truth to that. But there's a difference between true and truly helpful.
What I agree with you that really it has been accumulating. It has been building up. Yeah, it's building up.
And
at some point it comes out.
Yes. And if it has been building for a while, which it has, the reason I know this is because when I rebuilt trust with myself, I felt safe inside. My anxiety went away and came back. If it's been building for a while, then that idea of it's in the past doesn't help. Because if you're with your husband and he breaks your trust a whole bunch and you don't trust him and there's friction and you tell him and he turns to you and say, the past is the past, does that help?
With him, no.
Of course not.
But with that person that was mean, I don't see her anymore. I don't work with her anymore. And it's just now I started thinking about her.
Right.
It did help to build up some anger, some frustration,
But you can't get away from yourself. And so what I'm saying is the quote, "the past is the past," is a nice idea. And sometimes that can be helpful. In this case, it just doesn't work, because what you're experiencing right now is an accumulation of poor habits that are catching up to you. It's the karma, or as I call it, the karma, from not taking care of yourself. And in that case, just like if you didn't take care of your finances and then the bank was coming to repossess your house, you can't say, hey, Canada Bank, hey, TD Bank, the past is the past. I am moving forward. I am a positive angel. They're going to be like, yeah, but you still owe us money.
Yeah, you can't get away from that. No, but like you say, with your approach, you are going to help me to forget about the past, to forget about those negative emotions.
No, we don't forget. Just think of a relationship with another person where you have, just like with your husband, every now and then he does his best and he breaks your trust. You repair the trust. And then the pain goes away. When you trust someone, and I'll show you how to rebuild trust with yourself, you feel safe within yourself. When you feel safe within yourself, because you trust yourself, you feel safe, fear goes down, anxiety goes away.
Yeah, you have to trust yourself. Yeah, because sometimes I do catch myself, okay, I don't have to react to this. I have to stay calm. I have to say this. I have to say that. But still, when it comes to that, you feel that you're losing it again.
Yeah, because this isn't, these ideas of, I mean, you're a smart woman. You know the idea. We have to trust ourselves. Again, that's the what without the how. What I teach are very simple principles that we on some level intuitively know. What I learned for myself is the process to go from, oh, I really need to trust myself, to deeply trusting myself. That is not obvious. And it took a step-by-step system to create. I had a client 6 months ago from Canada, and everything I was telling her, she agreed. She's like, you're right. I neglect myself. You're right. I don't trust myself. I totally get it. But I've known that for a while. And I said, I know it's not enough to know the what, you need the how. And she said, you can show me how to build trust within myself. I said, that's what you do. You do the exercises. And so you're a smart woman. We sort of intuitively almost know where the anxiety is coming from. But what we don't have is a process to bring it back to health. That's the part that I can share with you. And that's what I've done.
Okay, so your two things are neglect and trust.
Correct. The neglect, basically.
We talked about it, right?
Yeah, neglect. It's sort of two metaphors that overlap. Yeah. We neglect ourselves, and so our emotional system is neglected and is fragile and feeling pain easily. So when life pushes on it like a carrot, we feel lots of pain. At the same time, when we neglect a person, they don't feel safe around us, they don't trust us, and they'll feel anxious. So through a step-by-step process of you taking better care of your nervous system, it brings your nervous system back to health, but it also rebuilds trust with yourself so that you feel safe within yourself and you feel permanently calm. Sound good?
You can control yourself. Yes.
You don't even control yourself. You're just calm.
I'm just calm. I don't have to control myself.
The thing is, we're not taught how to go to the root cause. And so a lot of good advice out there is still like, control the feelings, work on this, work on that. But if you,
the cause.
If you bring your system back to health, just like children are, they're really emotionally quite healthy until things go sideways. And that's why, 4-year-olds are full of confidence and freedom and energy because they have a healthy nervous system. Then we learn poor habits, we get an unhealthy nervous system. So what I show you how to do over 6 weeks, with little exercises, you bring the whole system back to health, and it's like having strong, shiny teeth. And then there's not much to worry about. You don't have to keep working on it constantly. You're free of it. That's why I call my company Full Liberation Technology. I want you free of this, Lena. I don't want you working on it. I want you to go out and enjoy skiing with your husband, not worrying about this.
I'm enjoying. You see, I'm going skiing. I go out. I do. It doesn't interfere with my life, but still, it's there. Something triggers it, and it's there. And it's there. And I know, okay.
I want it gone. So repeat after me, Lena.
My hands are tingling. Okay. Okay. So it's coming. It's coming.
Is it a good tingle or like you're having a stroke? Which kind of tingle?
No, it's a bad tingle. I didn't have a stroke. It's tingling. Yeah, like, my legs are tingling, my hands are tingling. I call my doctor. Am I having a heart attack? No, Lena. No, Lena. Just take the pill and you'll be okay.
Oh, yes. As a man, I heard a woman saying she's tingling. I made it mean what I wanted to mean, but I realized that may be a fantasy in my head. So yes, the physical symptoms that people feel, whether it's the ringing in the ears,
the
chest pressure,
tightness, the chest, the tightness in the head. Yeah.
All of that, it's all symptoms. Because if you feel afraid enough for long enough, you'll feel physical symptoms because your body is not meant to feel stress all the time. It's meant to relax. But we're in fight or flight too often, and absolutely it starts to affect your physical body. And so to those listening, again, the beauty of this program is most people have anxiety, some insomnia, overactive mind, sometimes physical symptoms, sometimes panic attacks, but they're all symptoms of basically an unhealthy system. And so when we bring the whole system back to health, all the systems go at once. It's very efficient. I'm an engineer. I love efficiency. So
okay,
repeat after me, Lena.
I have to go. I have to go, and
No.
I'll go to your site. Yes, I'll find you.
You come find me, Lena.
I'll find you. I know how to find you. Thank you, Daniel. It was good. It was useful. Yeah.
Wonderful.
It was.
Thank you for telling me you tingle. I'm just gonna take that one and put it in my pocket.
Just go inside yourself and analyze things. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Hope it helped.
Bye.
Bye.